At 2:37 a.m., Dr. Ellis Monroe was declared dead. No heartbeat, no brain activity. Time of death confirmed. But 5 minutes later, she came back. She wasn't revived. She wasn't saved. She said she made a deal. She said she borrowed time. Time that didn't belong to her. And now, it wants to be returned. After her unexpected revival, Dr. Ellis Monroe didn't celebrate. She didn't speak to the press. She checked herself out of the hospital within 24 hours, refused all follow-up interviews, and disappeared for nearly 3 weeks. When she finally resurfaced, it wasn't at a medical conference or in a journal publication. It was in a leaked audio recording sent anonymously to a fringe paranormal research forum. In the recording, her voice is calm, but cracked with exhaustion. She says, "It wasn't a near-death experience. I wasn't floating above my body. I wasn't in a tunnel or a light or a field of flowers. I was somewhere else, a waiting room, but not for the living." She described a dim, endless corridor lined with clocks, none of which ticked. Time, she claimed, was frozen, silent and still, until a voice spoke from behind her. "It offered me a choice," she said. "More time. Not a lot. Enough." When asked what the voice was, she didn't answer. She only said, "It wasn't human. But it knew how much time I had left. It even knew what I would have done with it." Dr. Monroe agreed to the offer. She said she felt the moment she was injected with the time. Not revived, reinserted into her own timeline, like a skipped frame on a corrupted reel of film. But here's where it gets stranger. In the days that followed, her electronic devices began glitching. Her digital clocks would reset themselves to her time of death, 2:37 a.m. Her security cameras caught fleeting shadows, whispers in reverse audio frequencies, and most disturbingly, she reported seeing people she knew had died, watching her from across crowded streets, only to vanish when approached. She started calling it ChronoDebt. She said, "Time isn't free. If you borrow it, you owe it, and the collector doesn't come when you're ready. It comes when the balance tips." Days later, she vanished again, but not before uploading a set of encrypted files titled ChronoDebt Protocol 01. And what's inside those files is what we'll explore next. The encrypted files left behind by Dr. Monroe were cracked 3 months after her second disappearance. They contained fragments of lab notes, time-stamped surveillance logs, and one chilling headline, saved as a screenshot. "Surgeon dies of heart attack, exactly 5 minutes after saving patient." The files outlined a theory that time could be transferred, like currency, but only under one condition: the source had to be dead. Monroe believed she wasn't the first. She uncovered at least 7 other cases across 3 decades, individuals who survived fatal accidents, medical failures, or trauma, only to report identical after effects: temporal disturbances, glitching electronics, hallucinations of the dead, and above all, the sense of being followed. In one file, there's a transcript from a 1991 psychiatric evaluation of a man named Thomas Greaves, who survived a plane crash where everyone else died. He told his doctor, "They gave me 3 more days. I thought it was mercy. But now I hear them walking at night. The ones who didn't make it. They want what I took." Greaves was found dead on the 3rd day. His watch had stopped at 2:37 a.m. That same time, 2:37 a.m., keeps appearing across all cases. Not random, not coincidence. It's the marker, the original point of death. Monroe's final theory proposed this: if you take time that belonged to someone else, it doesn't become yours. It becomes borrowed energy, unstable, temporary, and marked. A countdown begins the moment you return. And the more time you take, the stronger the pull becomes. She believed the ones you borrow from aren't just gone. They exist in a kind of suspended state, unfinished, aware, and angry. That's why the hallucinations escalate. That's why the clocks reset. That's why the same phrase appears scratched, whispered, or scrawled in every ChronoDebt case. You owe the hour. But here's where it turns from theory to something far more terrifying. Someone tried to recreate the conditions, not to borrow time for survival, but to steal it. And that's where the countdown begins. After months of investigation and leaked files, the true cost of borrowing time became horrifyingly clear. Survivors of ChronoDebt didn't just experience hauntings or glitches. They faced a deadly reckoning. The collector isn't a myth. It's an unstoppable force, an entity that claims what's owed with merciless precision. Victims reported seeing it as a dark, featureless figure, sometimes shifting into shapes resembling the people whose time was taken. It doesn't ask. It doesn't bargain. It simply comes. One chilling account from a whistleblower in a secret government project revealed that attempts to weaponize ChronoDebt technology ended in disaster. Test subjects who borrowed large amounts of time vanished without a trace, only to reappear days later, dead, with their bodies found exactly at the time their borrowed time was meant to expire. Those who tried to hide or resist were met with rapid aging, sudden strokes, or unexplained accidents, always within the deadline. In Dr. Monroe's final encrypted message, she warned, "We can't cheat time. We can't own it. We can only borrow it, and eventually, it comes back to collect." The files ended abruptly, no clues on her whereabouts. The phenomenon remains unconfirmed by mainstream science, but anecdotal evidence continues to surface worldwide. Stories of people who came back only to face unexplained tragedies shortly after. So, what does this mean for us? Is time truly a commodity? Can death be postponed by stealing from the dead? The answer might be yes. But every borrowed second brings the collector closer, and one day, it might come knocking on your door.